Hello, this is the Acer DA241HL, and as you can see I'm very excited about it because it is, Darien, well what is this thing?
This is an all-in-one PC, as you can see, but if you look closely at the screen you may recognise it's not running Windows, it's not running well, anything else, it's running Android, which is a brave and unusual choice, I think, for a system of this size and this form factor.
But of course, Acer has customised it, put it on its own layer. It hasn't just gone with the basic version of Android, has it?
Tim's doing a funny because no, this is basically absolutely bog standard Android, pretty much exactly as you'd get on, for example, a Nexus tablet.
Yes, and to me that is a little bit disappointing. The other thing that's disappointing, it is a little bit laggy. So if I press the menu and get the applications up, I'd hope, generally, for this just to flow along very smoothly. And actually, of course, now doing this demo. But you can see there's just a tiny bit of stutter, which compared to the very best tablets we see, the very fastest ones, this does just seem that little bit more laggardly.
It's Tegra 3 hardware, which is probably partly why. It's last year's ARM-based SoC rather than this year's. And also just the size of the screen kind of really makes it obvious when things are kind of jerking around or not jumping, instantly to attention, as it were. There's an Hdmi input at the back, so you can use it as an external monitor as well if you wish.
It's true. So it's got 1 gig of RAM, is that right? What are the key specs here?
Well, yeah, it's got 1 gig of RAM and it's got, I'm not sure how much storage, very little I would imagine. But the point is, I mean, it's kind of almost irrelevant because this being Android, you're not going to be running the big applications and you're not going to be running sort of Photoshop or, or Vegas or anything like that on it. And that's really kind of the issue for me because at first I quite like the idea that it's a very lightweight, very simple desktop. It's quite secure in the sense that, it's not vulnerable to all the viruses and so on out there. But of course, the apps you're going to be running are not going to be designed for this type of computer. And so they all run full screen, naturally, this being Android, which is another sort of frustration when you're dealing with, well, this is a 24-inch model. I believe there's a 23-inch one as well.
Will that make all the difference?
Yes. And also, I mean, they're not all optimised to work with a keyboard and mouse, so it's a rather disjointed experience.
But some are. So if I press the Polaris Office button there, then you will see this beautiful sentence which we prepared earlier. But if I then tap away, oh no it didn't, and you'll see that appears on screen. So it is very much like a normal word processor in that sense.
Yeah, until you try and print it to your network printer, at which point I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I mean, basically, there's going to be loads of complications, unfortunately, associated with using what is not a desktop operating system as if it were one.
So, in conclusion?
Well, I really want to kind of applaud Acer for doing something a bit different. I mean, we haven't seen a system like this, and the idea on paper, it's quite nice to sort of see Android growing up beyond smartphones and tablets, but I mean, John Brady, reviews editor, was saying earlier on, this will cost you, we think, around, we haven't got a firm price, but we're looking at over £400. For which price you can get something much more versatile, maybe a Windows machine, maybe a laptop, or indeed like a simple thing that runs Ubuntu, some kind of Linux derivative, which will give you a similarly obviously cheap and lightweight experience, but it's much more optimised for keyboard and mouse and proper desktop applications.
Yes, I can't frankly see the point.
Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel and come back every Wednesday for new hot hardware videos.